Let's get comfortable reading floor plans. I cannot believe how many people will sign off on floor plans and then walk onto the site 3 months later while under construction and say, I had no idea it was going to look like this. Did you? Yeah, of course I knew it was going to look like this. This is what the plans say. Make sure you know what you are getting into. But how do you begin to understand space? Here's a couple ways. When you were doing your initial research, pay attention to how the beautiful pictures of the homes compare to the floor plans you're seeing. I still do this all the time. So for example, you're flipping through Dwell and you come to an article about new construction. You love the images. This is a beautiful house. Now look for the floor plans right here. They should be somewhere in the article and compare them to the images that you were seeing. Do they make sense? Look at how the space flows and the proportion of the rooms compared to each other and how they put the spaces together to create that final image or view that you were seeing. I mentioned this in the first module. Start carrying around a tape measure. If you find yourself in a space that you like, that feels appropriately sized, measure it and take note. Or if it's too small, measure it and know that you need more space. People do not notice the spaces they are in and so have nothing to compare it to when they're looking at plans. When you start understanding the size of things around you, you can better understand the numbers on a floor plan. And do not be afraid to get your tape measure out in the middle of a design meeting and see what 10 feet looks like. Or measure the counter height in a bathroom that you like. Make a note and compare it with your plans. That's how you start to understand space. So depending on how in-depth your plans are and the level of planning you or your designer or contractor is providing, you might have a full design package with several pages, or you might have one page with a lot of information, like this one. They both work. For this project, almost everything is on one page, floor and ceiling details. An architecture or design firm will usually give you several pages with the information broken up. A floor plan, a finished plan, a reflected ceiling plan, elevations, and anything else. If you get frazzled in those packets or can't find the right page, go to the cover page and find the index. Either way, and especially if you have just one page, your subcontractors like your electrician, your plumber, your HVAC, they will probably make copies and then draw their own plans right over it. That works too. Things don't have to be fancy or high tech, you just need to get the information across. So now let's really look at this floor plan. This is a standard plan that you would receive from a lumberyard. It shows the entire plan as if you were looking down, like you have a dollhouse and you just took the roof right off. Let's walk through it. So you walk in. Here's a front door. This is a door. This is showing you the swing so that you know how it enters the room. These are side lights on the side. We're walking in. All of these are your walls and the double lines are windows. You've got dimensions, door swings, closets. All the dashed lines are ceiling materials. So these are ceiling beams that are being added, and the circles are can lights. This plan can get confusing because ceiling and floor is all on one page. That is not always the case again. We're looking at a fireplace here. You'll see abbreviations walking through the whole plan. You've got dimensions on all the sides. Got a garage, another entrance. These are ceiling details. What else are we looking at? We're looking at a sink here. This is the island, lighting over it. Usually when you're looking at a kitchen plan, any dashed lines would represent upper cabinetry and again, ceiling details. So that makes sense. Walking through, we've got another ceiling detail here. This is the bedroom. They don't have their plans. They don't have room names on here, which I'm surprised, but for the most part, this person understood their plan and it's pretty easy. Usually you will have room names because having a conversation, you want to make sure you're referring to the same space. You're not always going to say, the bedroom on the southwest corner or whatever. You want to just know when I say master bedroom, this is the master bedroom. Master bathroom. Then we're walking into a closet. The dashed line shows approximately where shelving might go. We don't have everything detailed out in the bathroom here either, I noticed, but you have a tub. They're not showing sink locations at this point, and they're not showing drain locations or shower heads, and that's something that usually is added in. We have a bathroom here. What you're seeing here is a pocket door, so you'll see it go. Here's another example. It's sliding into the wall. These were barn doors, so you'll see the doors on the outside of the wall. Then we were in the laundry room, so this is the washer dryer. This is the sink cabinet. This was just regular cabinetry, closet, and we're back around. You just have to pour yourself into these. Plans can be printed at different scales. It should be listed at the bottom. Typically, 1/2 inch equals 1 foot 0 or 1/4 inch equals 1 foot 0. This plan, for example, is 1/4 inch equals 1 foot 0, meaning that using a regular ruler, each 1/4 inch mark represents 1 foot. So 1 inch would represent 4 feet. You can do the conversion on a regular ruler, but I would highly recommend getting yourself an architectural scale. It has all the scales broken down for you and is easy to read. Why would you need an architectural scale? Everything should be dimensioned on your plans somewhere, but sometimes things get missed or you just don't see it in the mess of lines. And you need to know if your island is 4 feet long or 5 feet long, real quick. Grab out your trusty scale and measure it yourself. Or if you're playing around with your floor plan or design details and want to draw something in, make sure it actually works by drawing it to scale. Most people do not sketch things at an accurate scale. So let's look even closer at these plans. I just took the middle section here. This is the living room and the kitchen because a lot is happening here. So let's look at the dimensions and how you would read this. So again, dashed lines are ceiling elements, but everything is dimensioned and your space will be built off of this. So this usually answers all of your questions. We're looking at, okay, so this dimension 4'8" means from this outside corner to the center of this window, 4'8". And from the center of that window to the outside of this fireplace is 4'4". 1 dash here means foot, and 2 dashes means inches. So 4 feet, 4 inches. This is 9 feet, 0 inches. The window sizes are here. It says RO, 5 foot, 3 5/8. RO means rough opening. When your house is built, there is a rough opening size, which is slightly larger than your windows, and then your windows are fit in. So that's not the exact size of your window, but it gives you a pretty good idea of your opening. Should you be planning for blinds and things like that, you can get that measurement here. They'll come take official measurements on their own as well, but this gives you something to start with. A lot of times there'll be center lines marked, ceiling lines are marked. Here, see, they didn't show you how big the island is. So if you needed to know, you could have taken your architectural scale and measured this. They didn't really dimension any of the cabinetry in this plan because typically your cabinet maker would take your plans and then detail out that entire kitchen much more extensively. So now here are some finished images of the space compared to the floor plan. Is it what you were expecting? So as you can see, image A, I marked it here, A, this is where I was standing when I took that picture. So this part of the floor plan looks like this image. B, I was standing here when I took this picture. These floor plans, everything did change a little bit during construction, so it's not exactly correct, but it's pretty close. So B is this image, what you would see when you walk in the front door. C is standing here and by the back door looking in. This is what that looks like. So again, we're seeing those ceiling beams in place. Again, the pattern did change. It happens all the time, and it happened later, so the plans were not updated. But you'll see the tray ceiling here. We have that fireplace that we referenced. You'll see the window locations. Here's this great big opening, which is this big opening here into the sunroom here. We're looking at the kitchen here. So again, this is the island that we were referencing. This is this back wall. This is that back wall. C, we're looking here. Again, fireplace, coffered ceiling. We have the beam details. You have your door, your window. Those are all the measurements. And then again, D is the bathroom. I was as far in this corner as I could get when I took that picture. In the construction process, I talk about a bathroom where the window ended up 8 inches off center. This is that bathroom. You can't exactly tell because of the angle of this picture, but if you really looked, yeah, this side is a little bit bigger than this side. Ultimately, things happen and we live with it. It's still a beautiful bathroom, but those are the little things that can irk people later. Looking through those floor plans, most of what you need is there, but there are plenty of things missing. Where does it say what that fireplace looked like? What materials are being used and where are they? What is that ceiling detail exactly? What are those lights in the hallway? And so on and on. All the details that actually make the house your home. So you can handle this information in a variety of ways. Whether you do it electronically like this or just notes drawn all over a plan, that is fine. Just provide all the information you have in one place. Leave nothing undefined or open to interpretation unless you intend to. Personally, I don't leave anything to be selected or assumed without me. So you might think you're on the same page with your electrician. And then they put in almond-colored light switches and outlets in your all-white house. No. Make it clear from the beginning so that there are no surprises on even the most basic of decisions. This is an example of a floor finish plan in the very early stages of the project. Every time we made a selection, I added it to the plan. So take the sunroom. We decided which kind of tile it was. I made a line that the tile stops here at this doorway and at this doorway. And it's T2. So T2 is, which tile is that? It's Premier, Ensario, Nemesis. It's a 12 by 4, and I should have noted the grout, but we hadn't selected that yet. So draw everything that you know. I put the name and specifications of the tile. I drew it in here so that the installer knows the direction that I want it going and the pattern that I want it. They can take it from there. If you know you are going to have a complicated plan, a lot of finishes or custom details, devote the space to informing your crew. It is normal to have a floor plan like the first example I showed, and then also a floor finish plan that spells out all of those floor finish details. A finish schedule which states all the finishes and where they're being used. You might even have a separate reflected ceiling plan which better highlights all the lighting and details within the ceiling plane, and elevations that spell out the architectural details within a home. What that fireplace looks like, the bathroom vanity, the front door. If you have specific instructions for how you want your home to look, spell it out as much as you want. In this plan, I simply used arrows overlaid on the plan and called out everything I knew at that point. I will even note things that I don't know the answer to, like here. Inset brick hearth ? Need final decision from client. It's a reminder to me that we should talk about this on site before the flooring is installed, make a decision, and then update the plan. Because I have this note in case I forget, which does happen, the flooring person will look at the plan and ask us, and then boom, make that final decision, mark it on the plan. Always mark changes in a red pen, known as red lines in the industry, so they are super obvious, or update your drawings with whatever system you like. Just make sure it's clear that there has been a change and that your team is always referencing the same set of drawings. It can get super complicated and messy if there are all kinds of changes floating around once the project has started. That's why it's best to plan ahead, distribute one set of documents, and get everyone started on a successful project. This is an exterior elevation. You might have interior ones as well, and it is the straight, flat view from one direction. It is 2D. It shows the heights of things. In this case, it shows the roof pitch, material changes, and generally what that view is going to look like. I love elevations, cannot get enough of them. I love 3D models even more, but I love elevations. You can start to see things come to life. To this drawing, I would add finish notes, the roof material and color, the siding spec, the stone installation, garage door colors. For this project, it was coordinated through the lumberyard, and so the construction drawing is just matched to a description on the order sheet, and everyone hopes that everyone knows what they're doing. Houses are built this way all the time, but there is a lot of room for error in my opinion, so make things as clear as possible. And this goes back to your design. Focus on your wow moments. Make sure they are crystal clear and exactly the way you want them to look. If things go slightly awry on a smaller detail, it's really not that big of a deal because your eyes are drawn to that wow moment. So in this house, it was all about the stone and those timber gables. That's what people see, and everything else is pretty regular. And things changed and nobody even noticed. We've talked about this before, but there are a lot of visualization tools available these days, from black and white concept drawings to photorealistic renderings. Choose whatever level you want or need to feel like you understand your project. But the fancier and more detailed the drawing, the more it will cost you. To me, this upper right corner is really all that you need. This was created in SketchUp, and it's enough 3D modeling to understand what the space looks like, and you get the general idea of the materials you're using and where they are going without spending the money on the photorealistic aspect. Those are beautiful, but they are just kind of the cherry on the top in my opinion. It's not necessary, but it is fun. And just remember, materials and colors will never be correct on a screen. You will always need actual samples of materials in real life to select and confirm colors. You cannot pick materials from these renderings. I totally understand wanting the fancier images. It's pretty exciting to see your dream start to become a reality. So spend your money where you want. This is your project, your dream.